that is more geared toward like heartfelt stories and inspirational stories. We really dig deep into topics there. The Live and Learn is a little bit different. That's when we have an amazing guest on, like we do today, Stacy Schwarz with Roth and Roth Insurance. And our guest teaches us something. So maybe a knowledge that we can apply right away to our lives and make our lives a little bit easier, a little bit less confusing, right? We all need that. Or they teach us a skill that we can use right away. Today, Miss Stacy, it's hard to say your full name fast. My tongue gets all like with your last name, so I apologize for that. But Stacy is here. She's our insurance guru. She's going to tell us a little bit about insurance because, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, but it's some pretty complex stuff, and it's sort of difficult for the average Joe that doesn't do insurance every day to kind of understand. Is that what you've noticed in your career?
Absolutely. So a lot of times, one of the biggest things that I do is I try to educate my clients with what your insurance actually does for you, because so many people just assume, I think this covers it. I think I have this, and they really don't know. And the worst time to find out that you don't have coverage is when you need it. So usually during a claim time is when everyone's like, well, what do you mean? I thought that was this, or I thought it was covered. And the worst time to find out is actually when you need it. So we try to kind of eliminate all of that. And I always tell my clients, ask me any questions. There's no dumb questions, whether you've had insurance for 20 years or you're just starting out. I would rather you ask than just assume, because, it's really challenging.
Well, and then the worst possible thing could happen, right, is if you don't have enough, or if you kind of didn't set yourself up right, and then all of a sudden you're in a tragedy. Tragedy strikes when we least expect it, right?
Absolutely.
Now what?
Absolutely. And as we know, with the cost of everything in 2022, it is so much more expensive. And, like rebuilding homes and make sure you get your home back and not, I always call it a shell of your home, is so important. And that's why there's so many questions that if you're not being asked, or if no one's ever asked you before about your home, you should probably step back and think about it, because I can sell you a policy, but I don't live in your home. So I'm not going to know like every nook and cranny. So if you want, what you have back, you need to make sure you have it covered.
Right. Exactly. So let's dive right into it. Talk to me about homeowners insurance. Like, what are the typical things that we need to know as consumers out there that we don't know? What do we get tripped up on typically?
So biggest thing is right now is the replacement cost. So in the event something happened to your home, have to completely rebuild it, they will take your square footage, bathrooms, finishes, sliding glass doors. Basically, they want to reconstruct your house, and that's how much insurance you have. So if your agents never really asked you kind of questions about your house, like I know you just bought a new house, Katie, so obviously you have all of those details. So when your agent is working on your policy, we take all of that. So the square footage, basically we take the MLS listing if it's a brand new home purchase, and we put that in a replacement cost estimator. And that is kind of the real time. If your house were to be completely rebuilt, it takes in 2022 prices for, the contractor, the construction costs, all the labor that would go into that house. And it gives us a number that your house needs to be insured for. So what I'm seeing now is clients that have had their insurance for years and are shopping around. Most homes are underinsured. And that's just because this is a crazy time right now. But even if it wasn't a crazy time, we still see homes that are underinsured. So the biggest thing is just making sure you have enough dwelling coverage. And that's your basic, get your house built back. Doesn't include all of your personal belongings. This is just what it would cost to rebuild your house.
And how do you know that?
So what I do is we'll do you as an example. So if Katie comes to me and says, this is my house address, I look up her home, I pull all of the details, and then I type it all up. So I will be, square footage, you have 3 sliding glass doors, 3 full bathrooms, 2 half baths. We'll go through the flooring. We'll go through, if you have, fireplaces, what you have in your backyard, if you have a swimming pool, if you have a covered patio, if you have a casita, basically everything gets written down. And then Katie would look through the list because she lives there. She'd be like, oh yeah, I have this, or you forgot, this fireplace that I have. I also have a patio that balcony, etc. So we would basically go through that, and then I would put it into each insurance carrier has the replacement cost estimator. So they'll take all of that information and they will come back with a minimum amount that your home needs to be insured for. So if it came back at 500,000, that's the minimum amount. We can always, go above that amount, but that's what they are saying is the minimum amount needed just to rebuild your house.
Gotcha. So this is something obviously that you're assisting your clients in doing, like they don't do this all on their own. So you're assisting them in doing this. What other things do you take into consideration, if anything, when determining how much insurance to get, or like what they need to make sure that when tragedy strikes, they're good and they're not like caught?
So definitely the liability, that is one of the coverages that's on your home policy. Depending on the carrier, there's different amounts, 100,000, 300,000, 500,000. Some carriers do $1 million, not as many, but definitely want to look at the liability, because that is if someone was at your house, they were to fall and get hurt and they were to sue you, this is the amount that your insurance is going to pay out. So if you were sued and all of a sudden, it went to a judge and the judge says, Katie, you owe this person that fell at your house and got hurt $1 million. So, okay, I owe them $1 million. Well, your home insurance only has 500,000 on it. So obviously there's a gap of 500,000. So unless you have 500,000 sitting around that you can write a check and pay the person that sued you, another option to consider is an umbrella policy. And umbrella policies start with $1 million coverage. They can go up to 10. Clients that have 10 million, even higher if need be, we can get you an umbrella, but basic umbrella just is the liability. So in case someone gets hurt and you are held liable for their injuries, this umbrella is going to help you. And the umbrella will cover your home and autos and any other, if you have, ATVs, if you have a boat, a motorcycle, golf carts, anything like that, the umbrella will be extra liability for you.
So it makes a lot of sense for somebody to look at that.
Absolutely. And biggest thing everyone says is, oh, no, it's too expensive. I can't afford it. So yes, it is an additional cost, but most of the time for a $1 million umbrella that covers one home, two autos, and, two household drivers, we can find them under $200 a year. So
oh, wow.
Relatively, the more, I always say, the more exposures that you have. So if you have rental properties, if you have a second home, if you have additional, 3-4 autos, if you have, toys, boats, ATVs, golf carts, motorcycles, it is going to increase the premium, but it is going to be relative to, that exposure. So I never want to say, oh, don't worry about it, it's too expensive. Get a quote, see how relatively, inexpensive it can be. And you might find out, for a couple Starbucks drinks each month, you can have an umbrella policy to help protect you and your family.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because again, we don't know when tragedy will strike and we don't know what tragedy will be. So to best protect yourself seems to be, the most responsible thing to do. And I don't know if you know this statistic, but any idea of how many Americans across the country are underinsured?
I do not know the exact statistic, but based on policies that I see that come across my desk from potential clients and all of that, we definitely in Arizona and probably every other state, we could be reevaluating coverages that we need, because right now in Arizona, we did just increase the minimum insurance. It was 15,000, 30,000 on autos. Now it's 25, 50,000. However, most vehicles out there right now, are getting close to that $50,000 price tag.
Yeah.
So you hit, a brand new vehicle that, say someone that just bought a Suburban, they're over 100,000 right now. You have state minimum 25,000, 50,000 coverage. You're short. They can come back and sue you for, the difference. So, and unless you have, a bank account that can support, making a big check to someone, an umbrella with the auto, umbrella with the home, anything that you can do to help protect yourself from somebody else is definitely recommended.
Yeah, I can see that. Anything else in terms of homeowners insurance, or what homeowners should do to properly and responsibly set themselves up and organize themselves so that in the event, hopefully knock on wood, something doesn't happen, but if it did, they're good, like they're as prepared as possible?
So it's always recommended that you take a video or you do an inventory of your home. So basically go around to each room, write down what you have, because in the event that you had say you had a house fire, your entire house is gone. You're not going to be able to go back and say, okay, in my office, I had a couch and a chair. You might not remember all those details. And it's always better to have some sort of a video where you could just walk through each room. In the kitchen, they say to, open up your cabinets and just like do a quick video. Try to get as much detail about your house, because when it comes down to it, are you really going to be able to think of every single thing that you have, like looking behind you, Katie, on your bookshelf? Like if you were to, to go through that, I mean, at the time you'd be like, well, yes, I had a bookshelf. Well, how many books? Or,
right.
All of that. You're not going to remember. And when that tragedy, happens, the last thing you're going to be thinking of is, like that picture frame that I had, or, I had, 17 pairs of jeans in my closet, or, my kids' toys, or any of that. So basically, it's always recommended that you just take a video walking through each room of your house, kind of getting, a picture of it, or you can take photos, whatever easiest, and then just save those photos. And if you get new things, new couch or that, just update it, but always keep some sort of inventory of what is in your home.
Yeah. I don't think very many people do that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I know very many people don't do that. And it's the best advice I've heard yet. So anything else that you would like to add, insurance guru?
Don't be afraid to reach out to your agent, or just let them know that, like, hey, I've been noticing my premiums are increasing. Is there anything you can do? There are, I'm a broker. I work for different insurance companies. So I have multiple companies that I can shop you around to. So you don't have to be stuck with the same insurance company for, like 10, 20, 30 years. There are options out there. A lot of my clients, will stay a couple years with one carrier, then we'll find a better rate and they'll switch. It's always best to kind of see what's out there and just keep reevaluating your insurance, because as you get older, theoretically, you start to accumulate more, net worth goes higher. And, you always need to reevaluate, like, do I have enough insurance? Because when you first start out, you might think like, oh, I don't have that much personal belongings, so I don't need that much coverage. And then as the years go by and the more and more stuff you start to accumulate, you're like, oh my goodness, you kind of forget how much you have. So the insurance should always be something that you're kind of like, you review. Like I, as an agent, I will reach out to my clients and be like, hey, here's an opportunity to save. Do you want to go to a different company? We can save you this amount. You're more than welcome to stay where you are, but I at least want to give you an option. So if your agent isn't offering you options or isn't reaching out to you, it's a great time to shop around to see, someone that might be able to help you and offer you better coverages. Totally agree. It makes a lot of sense. In my business, it's the same, like work with somebody that actually cares about your situation. And the only time you should hear from them more often than, when it's time for them to collect the check or whatever, they should be looking at your scenario. Stacy's right. Things change all the time. Coverages change, prices of things change, your income levels change, all of that changes.
And so for somebody that is supposedly representing you to not be watching that and to not be making sure that your bottom line should be their priority, basically. And I love that you said that, Stacy, and I love that you do that for your clients. I assume your door is always open if any of our Mama members have any questions, or if they're like, hey, can you just look at my coverage and see if this is appropriate for my scenario? Do you do that kind of thing?
I do. So our agency is licensed in multiple states. And I tell everyone, if I can't help you, I will find someone that can help you. I have a lot of contacts in all 50 states. So if I don't personally sell insurance in your state, I can find someone that does the same type of, insurance that I do that has your best interest. And definitely I can hook you up. I'm also, if anybody wants an insurance review to look over their current policies, I will 100% look at your policies. And if I can't beat your current policies, I will flat out tell you, like, you have really great rates, or if there's something that you should consider, I will tell you, you might want to consider looking into adding this coverage. But I will never, just try to get your business and give you like lower coverages to try to win you over. I am a big believer in, insurance is there to protect you. So you need to have the best coverages. And if someone's not willing to, have your best interest, then, they're maybe not the right person for you.
Yeah, totally agree. Where can our members get in touch with you? What's the best way?
So Facebook page, Roth and Roth Insurance, Stacy Schwarz. I'll put it in the comment sections, all my contact information. You can reach me at 309-370-1709. But yeah, I'm on Facebook, throughout MOMnation. You can find me, Stacy Schwarz, last name Schwarz. But yeah, send me a message, give me a call. Definitely willing to help anybody that wants it. And I'll put all the information in the comments.
You're the best. Awesome. Well, thank you, Insurance Guru. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Katie.
Bye.
Bye.